Have you ever smiled just to keep the peace, even when your heart was breaking? Have you ever laughed in a room where your soul felt invisible? We live in a world where sometimes we try so hard to fit in that we forget the value of our own spirit. But let me remind you today, the one who created you, the one who breathes life into you every single moment, has not sent you here to be tolerated. He has sent you to be celebrated. And if you are standing in a place where your worth is ignored, where your presence is taken for granted, then remember, even silence with dignity is better than a smile that hides your pain. Because your value does not come from people's recognition, it comes from God's creation. And when you understand that, you will never waste your smile where it is not honored. Your smile is not just a curve on your face. It is the light of your soul, the reflection of your inner peace, the silent music of your heart. When you smile, you are not only lifting yourself, but you are also lifting others around you. It is the purest gift you can offer without spending a single coin. But here is the truth we often overlook. When you keep smiling in places where you are not valued, you are unconsciously draining the light of your soul. Imagine carrying a candle into a room filled with people who do not care if it brightens their darkness or not. You can keep holding that flame, but the longer you stand there, the more the wax melts, the more your energy diminishes, and the less you have left for those who truly need your warmth. Think about it. In your daily life, how many times have you forced a smile at someone who didn't respect you? Perhaps at work, where your efforts go unnoticed, but you continue to put on a happy face. Or in a friendship where you are always present, but when you need them, silence answers you back. Or even in a relationship where you constantly give, but your giving is seen as ordinary, not extraordinary. Every time you smile in such situations, you may feel you are being strong, but deep inside, a small part of your spirit feels unseen. And when the soul feels unseen, it becomes weary. God has created your smile to be something sacred. It carries divine energy, it carries healing power. That is why a single genuine smile can change the mood of a child. It can soothe the tension of a tired parent. It can even give hope to a stranger walking on the street. This gift should never be misused, especially in environments that do not deserve it. To smile where you are not valued is like pouring sweet water into the desert. The desert will never appreciate it, it will only absorb it without gratitude. And over time, you will be left dry, wondering why you feel so empty. Let's take a simple daily life example. Imagine you bring food to a table full of people. You worked hard to prepare it, but when you serve it, no one looks at you, no one even says, "Thank you." You smile, you laugh with them, but deep inside you feel invisible. Now, imagine another situation. You prepare a small, simple meal, and you share it with people who look into your eyes, who smile back, who value the love in your effort. Which situation fills your heart more? The second one, without question. This is the difference between smiling where you are ignored and smiling where you are cherished. Your smile is your personal sunshine. Just as the sun does not rise for one person alone, your smile was not given to you to be wasted on those who cannot feel its warmth. The sun does not argue with the blind, it simply continues to shine, knowing that somewhere there are eyes that long for its light. Similarly, your smile should not be given as a token to prove your worth. It should be offered as a blessing to those who can truly receive it. But let me also say this, not valuing yourself enough to protect your smile is one of the ways we disconnect from God's purpose for us. Because the divine has created you with dignity, with grace, with strength. When you compromise these qualities just to please others, you are stepping away from that divine dignity. You are telling your soul to keep silent while your lips pretend to be happy. This creates a split inside you, and no soul can thrive when its inner truth is denied. Respect your smile. Save it for the places where it is treasured. Save it for the moments that deserve it. When you walk into a room where your presence is honored, where your words are listened to, where your heart feels safe, then let your smile blossom like a flower in spring. In those spaces, your smile will not drain you. It will expand you. It will give life not only to you, but to everyone around you. And here's the most beautiful truth. When you value your own smile, others begin to value it too. When you stop offering it to those who take it for granted, they either awaken to its worth or they fade out of your life. Both outcomes are blessings because both lead you closer to the life God wants you to live. A life where you are not pretending but truly glowing. A life where your smile is not a mask but a mirror of your joy. So, the next time you feel pressure to smile in a place where you are not valued, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this smile coming from my heart or is it a mask to hide my pain? If it is the latter, hold it back. You are not depriving the world, you are protecting your soul. And in protecting your soul, you are honoring the one who created it. A flower never bends its petals towards someone who refuses to notice its beauty. It simply blooms day after day, without apology, without hesitation, and without begging for appreciation. Whether the passerby admires its fragrance or walks away without a glance, the flower remains true to its nature. In the same way, God has designed you not to beg for acknowledgement, but to live in your fullness. Your worth does not shrink because someone fails to recognize it, and it does not grow because someone claps for you. Your worth is steady, eternal, and untouched by the shifting opinions of people. Think about your daily life. How often do we find ourselves adjusting who we are just to be accepted? At school, perhaps you lowered your voice so others would not mock your opinions. At work, you might have hidden your creative ideas because you feared they would not be taken seriously. In friendships, maybe you gave more than you received, all the while putting on a smile just to be kept in the circle. But what is the price of this constant shrinking? Slowly, without realizing, you begin to lose your natural fragrance, just like a flower whose petals are closed tight in fear of being plucked. The truth is, your value is not determined by who notices it. The sun does not rise every morning only if people are ready to appreciate it. It rises because it must, because it is created to shine. Whether you open your window to let its light in, or you shut your curtains, the sun remains the sun. It does not beg for your attention, it fulfills its purpose regardless. Likewise, you are not here to bend for the limited vision of others. You are here to live in alignment with the purpose God has placed within you. A daily life example may help here. Imagine a student who works hard, studies late into the night, and puts effort into every assignment. But the teacher overlooks this student, praises others, and seems blind to the effort. For a moment, the student feels invisible. Now, the student has two choices: to stop studying and feel unworthy, or to continue learning, knowing that the knowledge itself is the true reward. If the student stops, he loses his growth. But if he continues, his efforts will eventually bloom in ways that no praise or recognition could ever measure. In the same way, your worth should not be tied to whether someone acknowledges your effort. The growth itself, the truth of your existence, is already valuable. Sometimes the eyes of others are too clouded to see your beauty. It is not that you are less, it is that their vision is limited. Imagine handing a diamond to someone who has only ever seen glass. To them, it might look ordinary because they do not know the value of what they are holding. Does that make the diamond less precious? Not at all. It remains priceless even if they treat it as common. Your soul is like that diamond. Just because some people cannot see your brilliance does not mean it doesn't exist. It only means their perception is too narrow. And here lies the danger. When we tie our worth to others' recognition, we end up dimming ourselves. We stop blooming because the applause is missing. We stop shining because the claps are absent. But life's greatest tragedy is not when others fail to see your worth. It is when you fail to see it yourself. You are meant to bloom like that flower, even in an empty garden. You are meant to shine like that sun, even when the world is asleep. Every moment you compare yourself with someone else or measure yourself through their approval, you drift away from your natural essence. Approval seeking is like carrying a begging bowl to the world, asking for drops of validation. But your Creator has already filled your bowl to the brim. The one who made the stars and the oceans, the one who painted the skies and shaped the mountains, also shaped you with care. And if the universe itself thought you worthy enough to exist, why should you need the applause of men and women who are themselves searching for meaning? Let's reflect on one more daily scene. Picture an artist who paints passionately, but no one comes to see the gallery. For a moment, she may feel unappreciated. But if her joy was in the applause, then her art will stop the moment the crowd leaves. If her joy was in the creation, then she will continue painting whether one person watches or 1,000. This is how we must live, doing what aligns with our truth, regardless of recognition. The flower blooms not because someone will admire it, but because blooming is its nature. You too must live in the fullness of your nature. If appreciation comes, receive it with gratitude. If it does not, continue anyway. Because your worth was never in their eyes. It was always in your soul. And when you begin to see yourself this way, you will never shrink again. You will stand tall, you will smile without fear, and you will know that the most important recognition you could ever receive has already been given to you by the one who created you. Your worth is eternal, untouched, unshaken. It needs no certificate, no stamp, no applause. Just as the flower does not stop blooming because no one walked by, you must never stop living fully because no one noticed. Your value is not in their recognition. Your value is in your creation. The energy you carry is not ordinary. It is not just your physical strength or the words you speak. It is the invisible radiance of your soul. Every smile, every gesture, every moment of kindness that flows from you is a form of energy, and where you choose to place it matters more than you realize. Just as a river can bring life to a barren land, when directed wisely, your energy has the power to nurture, heal, and uplift when it is invested in the right place. But if the river flows endlessly into dry sand, it disappears without growth. In the same way, when you keep pouring your heart into places where you are not valued, your spirit begins to feel drained, leaving you empty and exhausted. Think about your everyday life. You wake up in the morning, and from that very moment, you begin spending your energy. You spend it on your work, your family, your friends, your responsibilities, and even on strangers. Every interaction is like an investment. Now, if you constantly invest in someone who ignores your presence, who takes your kindness for granted, or who only remembers you when they need something, then it is like planting seeds in soil that has no water. No matter how good the seed is, nothing will grow there. But if you invest that same energy in someone who truly cares, who appreciates, who respects your soul, it will bloom into a garden of joy and peace. Daily life gives us countless examples of this. Imagine a colleague at work who always comes to you for help. You spend your time explaining, supporting, and solving their problems. But when it's your turn to ask for assistance, they are nowhere to be found. Every time you smile and say, "It's okay, you are pouring water into dry soil." After a while, you begin to wonder why you feel so tired, why you feel so empty. It is not because you gave, it is because you gave where nothing could grow. But think of another colleague who genuinely acknowledges your efforts, who supports you when you need them. Every bit of energy you invest there feels lighter because it returns to you in the form of respect and appreciation. Your energy is sacred and God has entrusted it to you with wisdom. Imagine if the sun wasted all its light on a cave that never opened its doors. It would shine endlessly, but the cave would remain dark because it chooses not to receive the light. That does not mean the sun is weak. It only means the cave is closed. In the same way, when people do not value your kindness, it does not mean you are less worthy. It simply means they are not open to receiving your light. And if they are not open, your energy will keep vanishing into emptiness. One of the greatest lessons we can learn is to be selective with our energy. This does not mean becoming selfish or cold-hearted. It means becoming wise. When you recognize that your kindness, your love, your patience, and your smile are all treasures, you begin to spend them carefully. Just like a person would not waste money on something useless, you should not waste your soul's energy on places where it brings no growth. Protecting your energy is not arrogance, it is self-respect. Another daily example is family life. There are people who sacrifice endlessly for their relatives, always trying to please, always trying to maintain peace. But instead of being respected, they are taken for granted. Their sacrifices are expected, not appreciated. Over time, they feel invisible. But when the same person invests even a small amount of effort in someone who genuinely values their presence, the return is 10 times greater. It could be a simple thank you, a gentle smile, or a heartfelt hug. These small signs of appreciation make the energy you invest feel meaningful. God did not create you to live drained and empty. He created you to live in balance, giving, receiving, and growing. When you give energy to those who value you, your soul blossoms. When you give energy to those who don't, your soul shrinks. Just as a tree does not keep giving fruit to a ground that rejects it, you too must learn when to give and when to step back. It is important to understand that stepping back from places where your energy is wasted is not an act of anger. It is an act of wisdom. You are not punishing anyone. You are protecting yourself. You are telling your soul, I respect you enough not to drain you where you are not cherished. This shift in mindset changes everything. Suddenly, you feel lighter, stronger, and more alive because your energy is being invested where it truly matters. Your energy is divine. It carries the blessing of God, and with it you can heal wounds, inspire hope, and bring joy. But only if you use it wisely. Do not pour it endlessly into deserts that will never bloom. Instead, direct it towards gardens where your presence brings life. That is where your soul will feel nourished. That is where your smile will feel real. That is where your heart will finally feel at home. And remember, when you respect your energy, the world begins to respect it too. When you stop wasting it on places that do not value you, you make space for the right people and the right circumstances to enter your life. And that is when you realize your energy is not just something you spend, it is something you must guard, nurture, and honor, because it is the very essence of who you are. When people fail to value you, it is not a sign that you are less worthy. It is often a reflection of their limited vision. Some eyes are too small to see the light of your soul, just as some windows are too narrow to let in the full glory of the morning sun. And yet, how often do we allow ourselves to be hurt, to feel invisible, or to doubt our worth, simply because someone else could not recognize our brilliance? The problem is not your light. The problem is their blindness. Think about how we live in daily life. You may have worked hard on a project at your workplace, poured your creativity, your dedication, and your long hours into it. But when the time comes for acknowledgement, someone else receives the applause, and you are left unnoticed. In that moment, the natural human tendency is to question yourself. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe my effort didn't matter. But pause for a second. Just because the spotlight did not fall on you does not mean your work had no value. It only means that the people holding the spotlight did not turn it in your direction. The light of your effort still shines, even if their eyes were too distracted to see it. Your soul is like a lamp. When lit, it illuminates the path for others, whether they notice it or not. A traveler may walk safely because of your light, and yet fail to even glance at the lamp. Does the lamp stop shining? Does it question its own purpose? No, it continues to shine because shining is its nature. Likewise, your worth is not dependent on who sees it. Some people may be too busy, too distracted, or too self-centered to notice your light. That doesn't make you less luminous. Take another example from family life. There are parents who sacrifice everything for their children. Their comfort, their sleep, their personal dreams. And yet, sometimes children grow up and fail to appreciate the depth of that sacrifice. Does this mean the love of the parents was meaningless? Absolutely not. Their love remains pure, their sacrifices remain real, regardless of acknowledgement. The blindness lies not in the love, but in the vision of the one receiving it. In the same way, your goodness is never wasted. It simply may not always be recognized by those around you. We must also remember that not everyone has the capacity to see greatness. Imagine showing a priceless piece of art to someone who has no knowledge of painting. To them, it may just look like colors on a canvas. But does that reduce the worth of the painting? No. Its value remains, regardless of who sees it or fails to see it. The same applies to you. Some people's eyes are not trained to see the depth of your character, the purity of your intentions, or the strength of your spirit. Their lack of vision does not define you, it defines them. And yet, in daily life, many of us make the mistake of dimming our light to fit the narrowness of others' sight. If someone cannot handle our brilliance, we tone it down. If someone mocks our uniqueness, we hide it. But what we forget is that dimming ourselves does not help anyone. It only makes us life smaller than the soul we were created to be. The sun does not lower its light because someone finds it too bright. It continues to shine because its purpose is not to please, it is to illuminate. Think of friendships. Perhaps you have had friends who only value you when you are entertaining them, helping them, or standing by them in hard times. But when it is your turn to need support, they vanish. Their failure to see your worth does not mean you are unworthy of true friendship. It only means they were never capable of offering the depth you deserve. Don't let their blindness trick you into questioning your light. God has given every soul a unique brilliance. Your kindness, your patience, your resilience, your faith, these are rays of light that make you who you are. When someone cannot see it, remember that their vision is limited, not your worth. If you place a diamond before someone who only knows glass, they may not recognize its brilliance. But to the right eyes, the diamond is priceless. You are that diamond. You do not lose your value just because someone else cannot measure it. In fact, life often places us in situations where we are not valued, not to break us, but to teach us a powerful truth that recognition from others is temporary, but recognition of the self is eternal. When you stop depending on others to validate your worth, you begin to shine more freely, more authentically. You stop waiting for applause and start living for purpose. And in doing so, you attract those whose eyes are open enough to see you clearly. So, the next time you feel unseen, remind yourself, it is not your light that is lacking. It is simply that some eyes are closed. Do not dim yourself to fit into their narrow vision. Continue to shine, continue to grow, continue to radiate, because your worth is never reduced by someone's blindness. The sun is not any less magnificent on a cloudy day. It only means the clouds are in the way. Likewise, your greatness remains, even if others fail to notice. Your task is not to shrink for those who cannot see. Your task is to remain luminous, to live your truth, and to trust that in time, the right eyes, the right hearts, and the right souls will recognize the brilliance of who you are. Until then, shine anyway. Walking away from places where you are not valued is not arrogance, it is self-respect. Too often in life, we confuse silence with humility, endurance with patience, and staying in the wrong places with strength. But there comes a point when remaining in an environment where your worth is constantly questioned is not a sign of strength. It is a slow erosion of your soul. Just as you would never sit at a table where the food is poisoned, you should not remain in spaces where your spirit is constantly diminished. Protecting your heart is not just an option, it is a sacred duty. Think about daily life for a moment. Imagine being in a workplace where no matter how hard you work, your efforts are overlooked. You give your time, your skills, and your loyalty, but all you receive in return is indifference or criticism. You smile, you stay, and you tell yourself that one day things might change. But over time, you begin to notice the toll it takes on you. You lose confidence, you doubt your abilities, and you begin to question your worth. Staying in such an environment is like watering a plant with salt water. It looks like you are nurturing it, but in reality, you are slowly destroying it. Walking away from such a place is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is saying, I value myself too much to keep pouring my energy where it is being wasted. This lesson applies to relationships as well. Many people remain in friendships or partnerships where they are not valued simply because they fear loneliness. They accept being disrespected, ignored, or treated as a convenience just to avoid the discomfort of walking away. But loneliness in the wrong company is far more painful than loneliness in your own presence. When you walk away from people who don't value you, you may feel empty at first, but soon you begin to realize that this emptiness is actually space. Space for peace, space for growth, and space for the right people to enter. Staying where you are not valued only blocks what God truly wants to bring into your life. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you go to a marketplace with gold in your hand, but the seller there refuses to recognize its value. He treats it like ordinary metal and offers you only a few coins for it. If you accept, you not only lose the worth of the gold, but also insult its true value. But if you walk away from that seller, you will eventually find another who recognizes its real price. Did the value of the gold change in between?